Hello, everyone. It is Friday here on the BGE Cloud, so you know what that means. It's time for another episode of The Plus in Pageantry. It is my absolute honor to be sitting here with a guest today, and you guys are going to love her. I am with the current Miss Oregon USA, Shayla Kern. So, me and this young lady go way back. And I'm so proud of her and just watching all of her growth. I'm going to give her the opportunity to introduce herself, tell you guys hey, and then we are going to have such an amazing time. Shayla, the floor is yours.
I'm Shayla. I'm the current Miss Oregon USA. I've been doing pageants for goodness, 11 years now, which is just absurd to say. I'm almost 23. I turn 23 next month, so almost 12 years in the pageant industry. Right now, I serve as a neonatal intensive care unit nurse at a level 1 trauma center in Portland, as well as a hospital up in Washington, too. So when I'm not serving my community, I'm serving these little babies, which have my heart. But I'm so thankful to be Miss Oregon USA and to be on here with Amber.
I don't have sound. I don't have sound effects. Those are my sound effects. So I am so excited to chat with you. This has been a long time coming. I will ask Miss Shayla, do you remember how we actually met many moons ago?
Yes, so long ago. I know that you've been in the pageant industry for a really long time, but one time that I vividly remember, if y'all don't know, my dad's actually a photographer and he takes pictures of a lot of women that are in the Pacific Northwest. And I remember meeting her at one of my dad's photo shoots with her. And she was just so loving, so welcoming. When I'd see her compete at Miss Washington USA, she was always so much fun to watch. And it's been an honor to hang out with you as a choreographer at Miss Oregon USA. I felt like I had a piece of home with me. And I think you were there when I won teen as well. So
Yes.
being there for both has been so cool. And I'm just so happy that Maureen has a choreographer like you.
Oh my gosh, stop. You're gonna make me blush. I definitely love the environment that Maureen and David have built here in the Pacific Northwest with their pageants. For those of you who are just tuning in, you guys, this is going to be a Maureen fan page, but she and her husband David direct the Washington, Oregon, and Idaho USA pageants, and have at least held Washington for well over a decade. And I'm a testament to that because my pageant career has been about 10 or 11, 12 years, somewhere in there, more than 10, less than 15. And I got my start with Maureen and David at Miss Washington USA. So it has been a ride and it's been crazy being behind the curtain and seeing phenomenal young ladies like you, Shayla, come up through the program and not only capture a teen title, but to come back and capture the Miss title. Doubling down on that, Imani Blackman was my first teen queen.
Oh,
So
wow.
the year she won teen was my first time walking on the Miss Washington USA stage. And then a few years later, I was on stage with her competing for Miss when she
Oh,
won. So
we
I
love
think that was,
it.
we love a chocolate queen, period. But yes, shout out to Miss Imani Blackman and her beautiful family. We love that family so much, and they matched her down. I remember that vividly. The year she won Miss, her family, her group, they were in alignment. They
Yes.
matched her down perfectly, and I love that. So Shayla, you have had a phenomenal career in pageantry. What are some other organizations you've been a part of? And if you didn't have fun, girl, you don't have to name them, but just the ones we the ones we
Talk
like.
about the one that I've been a part of outside of USA the most, and that is National American Miss. I mean, NAM holds such a special place in my heart. I started with NAM when I was 11 years old. I actually got a letter in the mail, and my dad, he came in my room and he said, Shay, you have this letter to compete in a pageant. Do you want to do it? And at the time, I wanted nothing to do with being girly, makeup, dresses, none of that. And so I told him no. And he actually forced me to do my first pageant. He was like, actually, I'm not going to give you the choice. You need the confidence, you need the self development. And I was so upset. I wanted nothing to do with it. I remember the house we lived in at the time had this long hallway, and he would have me walk back and forth in my heels to practice because he wanted me to do good. And I'll never forget after the pageant, I was so upset I didn't win. Imagine that. I wanted to put no effort in. I wanted to win the whole thing. And I got in the car and I said, Dad, you know what? When I come back next year, that girl is going to crown me. And fast forward a year later, I actually ended up winning Miss Oregon Preteen. And then I went on to win National American Miss Preteen. And I competed in the NAM system for many years. I was the Oregon Junior Teen, placed first runner up, and then I was the Oregon teen and placed first runner up again at nationals. So NAM has been a huge part of my life. I think they really made me who I am today. And I've hit up Kathleen Mays to help them with their Oregon and Washington pageant since it's back. And I really hope that I do, because I just want to put that same love and confidence into young girls like they did for me.
Oh my gosh. And okay, so you're not going to take them up on the elite offer?
Girl, a lot of people have been DMing me for that, and I think it's so, so sweet. However, pageants are really expensive, and I think my next goal in life is to get my doctorate, and I do not think I can afford both. I'm still paying off my Miss USA experience, so if I'm going to do something, I do it big, and I just cannot picture myself paying for grad school and doing the pageant. My dad says never say never, but truly, I think competing on the Miss USA stage was the last stage that I'll compete in.
Well, that's the thing about pageantry. It's just like, it's one of those things where I feel like we're starting to miss the plot. And this is coming from someone in their 30s who I plan to compete again, because I've never achieved what I want. And I want a big title. I want a national or an international. So
Yeah.
I want to compete until I achieve that. But it's just kind of like, it's okay to graduate into a different part of your life and just kind of let it go. Like, if you've won the biggest title in every system you've ever competed in, we get it. You're
Yes.
phenomenal.
You're
You present yourself well. Like, right on. Let somebody else have it, babes.
right.
You don't have anything else to prove.
Right.
Um,
The biggest thing is too is like I am now a wife, and as much as my husband loves seeing me on stage, I just think, just like you said, when you accomplish that end goal, and for me it was Miss USA, I think now my view has shifted where my new end goal is becoming a better wife, getting my degree, and one day becoming a mom. And once my little girl wants to do a pageant, I will be right there with her, bags packed, ready to go. And hopefully it's NAM, the one that she'll want to compete in.
I mean, fingers crossed, right?
Yeah.
Um, I think when I had your dad on the show like a year ago, or longer, I'm not sure, but we had that joint experience because I got the NAM letter in the mail, but I was too old.
Oh no. Why would they
Yeah,
send that to
I
you?
don't know. It's somebody's cruel joke or prank, but a lot of these organizations share email list and things like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if I inquired at another pageant and they somehow ended up with my information to reach out to me. But yeah, I
Now
got
you
it in
can
the
do
mail and I
that,
was, huh?
now you can do NAM though, right?
Well, the elite is out there, and I'm going to speak this into existence right here, right now. I actually want to go to Ms. United States. Um,
Ooh.
I know, I
So fun.
know. So fingers crossed for that. I think that has always been a system that I've like secretly like been following and wanting to see. But I noticed a few years back when they had like this kind of split in directorship and leadership that their numbers just went way down, and I never got to the bottom of why. Was it just a simple everybody went in all these different directions, so their base felt split, or what it was? But I haven't heard anything scandalous out of that organization in a long time, and that's what I'm trying to avoid. I want no scandal. Um, So yeah, I think that's what might be next for me.
Love it.
But let's kind of fork into your experience with going to Miss USA, which is a big dream for a lot of women out there, and you achieved it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What was your prep like getting ready for your state pageant?
Oh, oh my gosh. State was insane. I remember actually deciding I was going to compete 2 years prior to the pageant. And like I said earlier, if I decide to do something, I do it big, I do it full out, I don't hold anything back. So when I decided to do Oregon USA, I got a trainer. I flew to Ohio to design my gown 2 years in advance, worked with my set of coaches that I've been working with for years, with the addition of a few that really focused on Miss USA. And I just hit the ground running. 2 years of consistent prep because I knew I wanted to win the title. My goal was to hopefully win on my first try. And I was so thankful that all that hard work paid off and I got to accomplish the title of Miss Oregon USA. Leading up to Miss USA, we only had, I think, 3 months to prepare. And looking back, I'm really thankful that I worked so hard leading up to Miss Oregon USA because I think if I went blase, it would have been way harder to prep for Miss USA in 3 months. But I just kept doing what I was doing. I just kept seeing my trainers, kept working with my coaches, and did a lot of videos and photo shoots, all of it to make sure I had all my content for Miss USA. But preparing for Miss USA on the national level in 3 months was the most busy 3 months I have ever had.
I believe that so much, and that was the thing, from a staff point of view. I did not want any of our girls to go to nationals and feel like they didn't have any time to actually enjoy their reign. It kind of feels like you're reigning backwards. Like
Right,
usually you have time to, do the work in your state and then take
right,
all that well of knowledge with you
right.
to nationals. And, if you weren't prepared or you didn't have that kind of experience coming into the state pageant, I said it here on the podcast multiple times. I was like, I shudder to think the young lady who this is her very first pageant, she wins her big title and then she and then she goes to Miss USA this year in particular.
My teen. That was her exact experience. This was her first ever pageant and she won. And then she went to Miss Teen USA 3 months later. And I remember after we won, we went to the dinner where we sign our contracts. And she was like, I heard you did this. Please help me. Please guide me. And I was so thankful to just give her words of encouragement, look at her wardrobe, let her know what was going to work, and just be a guidance for her because I did pageants for a long time before I was a teen. And I did pageants a long time before becoming a Miss. I cannot imagine going to Miss Teen USA with no clue what you're getting yourself into.
I've never had the privilege of competing in a teen pageant, and so I had to learn everything on my own initially because there weren't a lot of like coaching and walking and things like that were accessible here in the Pacific Northwest at the time that I started. Um, so I had to learn all of that on my own. I think I competed in Miss Washington USA twice and then discovered there were other pageants out there. So, you know, doing all these growing pains and then just learning the culture on the fly as well, I don't wish it on my worst enemy. Like, that's why, I take pride in being from the Pacific Northwest and from this team with the Miss USA system in particular, because I know that Maureen and David really, really work hard to make sure that their girls get a great experience. Would you say what was probably the biggest difference in experience between your time at Miss Teen USA and your time at Miss USA?
So I think the elephant in the room is COVID. That was the biggest difference. I mean, I was Miss Oregon Teen USA in 2020. So the entire week at the national pageant, we had to wear masks, had to get tested for COVID every couple days, and wear these bracelets that said that we were COVID free. It was a whole experience.
Okay.
But I enjoyed it so much. I know some girls felt robbed because it was a pandemic, but I wish I could relive my teen experience. And the reason why is I think when you're a teen, you go and it's really about having fun. Like I had so much fun at Miss Teen USA. I genuinely watch those videos and look at those pictures back, and I wish I could just teleport back to that time. Not to say Miss USA wasn't fun, but these girls at Miss USA, it's Miss USA. And you can feel the intensity, you can feel how serious everybody is, and it's no joke. There's no jokes about it. While Miss Teen USA, it felt like a big sleepover for a week. Loved it. And so being a miss, I think the biggest thing that I struggled with was I love pageants, I love competing, but I'm someone where if I win, that's great. If I don't, I'm kind of like, okay, that's fine. I have this next goal ahead of me. And at Miss USA, you could just feel the tension in the air where everyone wanted that crown. And so I think I had more fun as a teen just because everyone was so lighthearted about the pageant.
I think that's fair. I think that's a fair
Yeah.
assessment. And then that is one thing that I don't know how to recreate for our girls here in the Pacific Northwest, because typically we have pretty smooth pageant experiences. Like it doesn't get that tense. Um, because a lot of the states, whether it's the East Coast or the South or even in California, these big pageant states where it's really, really competitive, like our girls up here, they don't get that same experience because a lot
Yeah.
of times we have people who sign up, friend groups that sign up together to compete together. So there is no animosity. I mean, hey, every group has its apple, but it's never the whole group.
Right.
Okay.
Totally.
Um, so so it's just kind of like I don't know how to recreate that for our young women because I feel like that's the only thing we can't show them before they go off to their big show.
Right.
Um,
And
do
all the
you
girls
feel?
that
Go ahead.
And all the girls at Miss USA were so kind and they were so genuine and sweet. So none of them were mean. It was just a matter of when you'd ask them about their goals and ambitions, the conversation was very much, well, if I don't win Miss USA this week. And they were just so determined on winning that title. And it was so beautiful to watch all these girls want this so bad. But it was serious. There was no hee hee ha ha. It was Miss USA and that's it.
I think my a similar experience that I've had going to national pageants elsewhere is that there's this level of intensity. Like me, I'm very much, willing to help and do all these things and kind of still be in the mode. But I remember the first time I saw like a girl step off and like center themselves and like have their time to themselves before going on stage. And I
Yeah.
was like, I was so thrown off. I was like, what's about to happen? Like,
Yeah.
she doesn't want to, yeah, I was like, she doesn't want to kumbaya with us. And then, gaining more experience, I learned that, sometimes you need that. Like, you need that moment to yourself, align with the big man and just kind of, find your peace before you go on stage. It doesn't
Right.
mean I'm mad or that I don't love you anymore. It's just like something you do to kind of get in the zone. And I couldn't fathom that before I witnessed it. I was like,
Right.
oh, this is for real. Like we're not playing around.
Right.
Um, do you feel that with the current state of pageantry, do you feel like it's worth the investment?
I had this conversation with Amani Blackman actually last week. I'm very close to her. I feel like we have these real conversations, especially with just the pageant climate in general lately. It's nice to have just like a girlfriend to chat with while being Miss Oregon USA. I think it's been just so helpful to have her in my back pocket and be like, hey, I need your advice. One thing that we talked about is National American Miss, for example. The whole plot is growing confidence, building resume skills, learning how to interview. I mean, I think I built all of my interview skills from National American Miss that have landed me jobs and opportunities. And then for Miss USA, it's that on a Miss level. You're gaining opportunities, you're becoming a better interviewer. But one thing that I think is making pageants not as popular anymore is that people can pick up their phone and they can be an influencer, they can be an advocate, they can be someone that others can look up to. While 20 years ago, that really wasn't the case. If you wanted to be somebody, you had to be an actress, a singer, something of that sort, or Miss USA or Miss America. And so I think pageants are relevant. I think they're very important for life skills and life building. But one thing that I think that we should implement is something that makes us unique and different so more girls want to join. And so to answer your question, I think it is worth investing in. I think that if I didn't compete in pageants as a young girl, I would not be who I am today. And some women really need that confidence building as an adult to do pageants like Miss USA. So I think it's worth it. However, I think that if someone's going to accomplish the title, they should make themselves as brandable as possible and unique as possible so that more girls will want to join.
Yeah, I think we've seen a lot of pageants try to accommodate that influencer pack. Jesus, my words. I think that pageants have tried to incorporate that influencer factor by adding like social media being a part of your scoring or things like that. My only fear is, you know, what goes up must come down, right?
Right.
So, oh, excuse me, I'm going to cough. I got dust or something. Lord.
It's okay.
It's a paid actor in this episode. But I just fear that this influencer bubble is going to pop.
Yeah.
And I don't want pageantry to get caught in the crossfires of it.
Right.
Because as a millennial, it's like my whole experience finding my personality and how to socialize has been through the evolution of social media.
Right.
But now I'm in my 30s and I'm sick of it. I don't want to deal with it,
Mhm.
but it's so ingrained in our lives. So I would hope that, like you said, pageantry finds something that is niche and unique, and it goes back to providing real experiences because I think we've seen kind of that dial back where some systems we don't even see them at Fashion Week anymore, or you know, like we need these women to feel like they're really getting an experience,
Mhm.
especially if they're paying for it with a year of their lives dedicated
Exactly.
to the service.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
remember when Shayla Kern was Miss USA, and I remember watching her and seeing her go on Good Morning America and all these talk shows and go to these fashion shows like you shared. That made me want to become Miss USA. And I would have still taken the opportunity to be Miss USA. I mean, I competed for it, but even seeing the girl this year that won, she unfortunately hasn't had those same experiences as Olivia Culpo or Nia Sanchez or even Chesley Christ, where they are just publicized all over and become an overnight celebrity. And I think if pageants want to remain relevancy, they need to give that overnight it girl it factor.
Yeah, I think that's going to be really really important, especially having the support of the organization. It's clear when you don't. You
Yeah.
know, like poor Alma, like she obviously didn't have the support that we've seen former title holders have. And that's just the gospel truth. Like,
Yeah.
like, because she deserved so much more than what she got, especially going on to compete at Universe because
Mhm.
baby, that national costume wasn't it. And God bless her. She went up there, she did her thing, but
Right.
it it was lacking, especially at that caliber of competition. And it's just like um, something I spoke with one of my friends about is you can tell when somebody just doesn't have the resources, and sometimes you can shine past that, but other times you simply can't. It's just like, you know, a lot of people walk past Clark Kent, but don't nobody walk past Superman. I'm just saying. So I do want to see some I do want to see some shifts in pageantry, but it's also one of those things where for us who are kind of handing the baton to the new school of pageant girls, we have to tell them to advocate for themselves and to push,
Right.
and to not just accept scraps,
Right.
because, if you're willing to accept being treated poorly, people are going to treat you poorly.
Right. And it's not going to change for the next girl.
No, no, we set the bar, and what most people don't understand with statements like that, I set the bar, I set the bar, woo woo woo. You can set it either way. It's a sliding scale,
Right.
babes. So we want to leave that bar higher than we found it.
Exactly.
It is what's ideal. Do you feel like, girl, I got an email, girl. Do you feel like the pageant space is a safe space?
I think yes and no. When I started pageants, I loved it. It felt like it was a summer camp for a weekend or for a week where you got to grow and experience what self growth feels like. And as a kid, I felt like it was a safe space for me. Unfortunately, I feel like over the years, our pageant community has become so invested in the lives of other people. And whether that's in a positive way or a negative way, these pageant fans or even contestants, I think, have crossed a boundary where I think that we're putting a lot of girls' mental health at risk. I mean, like I shared earlier, Chesley Christ is one of my favorite Miss USAs, and we don't know why she was struggling with her mental health. But what we do know is there were so many comments about her as a woman, about the color of her skin, about her body. People just don't know where the boundaries are nowadays. And I've spoken about that on my Instagram a lot too, where we have little girls now on social media. I can think of 5 girls under the age of 10 that have a cell phone and have an Instagram. And when they're scrolling online and they're seeing these comments, seeing these posts, seeing these Instagram stories of us tearing each other down, I wouldn't want to compete in that as a little girl. That would terrify me. I mean, when I was 11, I was already struggling with so much in my own personal life. If I was signing up to be ridiculed by people I didn't even know, I would not sign up for that. And so I think that the pageant community has reached a point where we truly don't know what the boundary is anymore. And I think we really need to reflect on what is the purpose of pageants? What's the purpose of fan accounts? Why are we posting what we're posting? Why are we commenting what we're commenting? And ask yourself, if you saw these people in real life, would you say that to their face, or would you just comment it online?
The answer is no, they wouldn't. Because I've been face to face with somebody who's had some stank to say about me, and I guarantee they didn't have none of that visceral language
Exactly.
in the room. Um, I feel that I agree. I on one hand, you want to try to point everywhere. You want to say, oh, well, confidence starts at the home, and these behavior issues start at home, which has truth. But also, you want the organization to protect the contestant, but you also want to feel like you're talking directly to the contestant when you're interacting with them on social media. So it's all of these different things pulling on the exact same chain, and it's not doing anything to fortify the situation. Everybody's offering suggestion, but we're not seeing any action being taken place. And I don't know, I mean, I think one thing that as a community we need to just kind of brace ourselves for is you're not going to be able to please everyone,
Yep.
you
Yeah.
know? So I think decisions need to be made and we need to stick by them, because we can't keep having these documentaries coming out every other month. uh, like it's crazy. It,
Heartbreaking.
it hurts, especially when you're advocating for something. Especially, I don't know if you had the exact same experience, but being a woman of color in the Pacific Northwest, being a Black woman in the Pacific Northwest, advocating for pageantry in our very very small community, it's difficult because so many people have no idea what pageantry is supposed to be about,
Mhm.
and then all you get in the last 3 years is salacious headlines,
Yes.
so it is very, very hard. And then people recognize you for that. I have coworkers that we don't say happy birthday, Merry Christmas, da da da, but when something happens at Miss USA, I get a text, you
Right.
know?
So true. I mean, I will get text messages all the time. I mean, my own mother-in-law, I'll never forget, we were in Florida on a vacation with them, and she goes, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm okay. Like, what's up?" And she's like, "I'm seeing all this online. You said you want to compete in this system. Are you sure? Are you going to be safe?" And that's just heartbreaking to hear. I mean, like you said, we want this to be a safe space. We want girls to want to compete. And when our community is hearing this, they question you about it. I mean, it's sad if I go to work and I'm scared to tell people, "Hey, I'm Miss Oregon USA," because there's going to be two responses. "That's really cool," or, "Oh, I heard this on the news. Oh, I heard this." And then you're almost defending yourself and saying, "Hey, this actually did change my life. And there are some negatives, but it made me a better person." So it can be really difficult to navigate.
Yeah, it's tough. And I tell folks, like, you have to have a thick skin no matter what you're doing, especially in a world that's so connected, and it
Mhm.
demands so much of you, no matter if you are in medicine or in pageantry or both, or like, no matter what you're doing, the second you choose to share a piece of yourself online, you have to be able to defend
So,
everything that you post. Unfortunately, gone are the days where people could just scroll if they didn't like something.
yeah,
Everybody has to leave. Everybody has to comment.
everyone
you
has to
know?
have an opinion.
Yeah, and it's like you could have kept that one to yourself. Like you could have just
You could have put that in the
um
drafts.
right, just left yourself a voice note or something. I don't know, but I think it's really, really, it's a beautiful thing because, like I said, I've seen you grow so, so much from the time that I met you to now.
Yeah.
I It's hard for me sometimes because I want to be all of your biggest cheerleaders, all of the girls that we crown, all the girls that come through our system, but I also don't want it to look like favoritism. So it's
Yeah.
like I golf clap,
Yes.
just kind of like I'm here.
I'm here for you.
For you. But not just you. I'm here for everyone.
Yes.
So so it's kind of like that. So it's like I remember when you got crowned Oregon team, um, someone just, you know, who do you think it's going to be? I was like, oh, it's going to be Shayla, and then somebody goes, but so and so's doing well too, and I was like, y'all asked me who I thought it was going to be,
Yeah.
huh?
Don't attack the messenger.
Like I was like, huh? Okay, okay, thanks. And it's like I didn't say it's going to be Shayla, your contestant sucked.
Right.
I said what you asked me. You said, who do you
Right.
think it's going to be? I said, it's going to be Shayla. And I happened to have been right that time. But when I was
Yes.
watching Miss Universe, they asked me who I thought it was going to be. And I said, Thailand.
Yeah.
And look at us now.
Me too. I had a whole watch party with my husband and I was like playing the whole game with him. And he was like, "I don't know, Shayla. I don't know if you're going to be right." He was rooting for Denmark. I was like, "Do
Was
you
it
want to?"
really?
He was.
Oh,
He's like, "I think Denmark's doing a good job." And I was like, "Nothing against Denmark." I was like, "But Thailand and Nigeria are just acing these answers." And he's like,
neck and
"Yeah."
neck.
He was like, "Denmark just looks like she's a Miss Universe." And I was like, "Okay,
I
okay."
love that he participates. That makes me
He
so
does.
happy.
He does willingly.
Um,
He's probably going to go to the
oh,
GBAs with me too, which will be fun.
oh, yay. I'll see you there.
Yes.
Yes, that is the Global Beauty Awards. For those of you who aren't familiar, it's going to be in Bellevue, Washington this year. We are so excited. It's going to be a great show. I will be there. If you don't see me, it's because I'm working, but I'll be there. And my girl Luciera is going to be back doing the red carpet interviews, and there's like a
Love
whole
her.
bunch of treats going on. We're honoring Miss Jamie Kern Lima. If you don't know who that is, she's the founder of It Cosmetics, and she sold her company to L'Oreal for $1 billion. Come on, girl boss.
Yeah.
But yes, just Google it, go on socials, find Global Beauty Awards, find the GBAs. You'll find more information about it. And again, Shayla's going to be there with her husband, and I'm going to be there somewhere. You might not be able to find me, but I will be there. um, it really does. It really is terrible. I get so excited leading up to the GPAs, and then I get so depressed afterwards because I don't have any pictures. Everybody's posting their
Oh,
pictures and stuff, and I'm
we'll
like,
get a picture. We'll make it happen. We will get a
I was like,
picture.
I was there.
Yes.
I was backstage. I handed you the trophy. Remember?
Don't forget
Yeah,
about me.
but that's my feeling at state too, because everybody's like, "Oh my God, the state pageant, yeah, yeah, yeah," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I was there
I was there with my headset on.
with my headset." My mother is still very upset because she has never been able to wear a headset.
Oh,
And I told her it's going to be
funny.
too distracting for her.
Oh, she's so cute. I'm so sad I sold my purple jumpsuit that she loves. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like the second I sold it, I was like, wait. I was like, she's gonna be so mad because I'm not gonna wear it at state to give up my title. And she's gonna be like, where's the purple
She's
jumpsuit?
gonna be like, yeah, she's gonna ask you, and
Yeah,
she's gonna
I'm
watch this
scared.
episode, and she's still gonna ask you.
Oh, I'll pick a purple outfit to wear, I promise.
Please, that would just
Maybe I'll
make
give
her
up my
life.
title to purple. We'll see.
I think that will be my swan song. Like the day you guys see me on stage in a purple gown, that'll probably be it for me because she's been trying to get me in purple since I started this journey, and I have just been like, no, ma'am.
That's my
Mm-mm.
dad with red. He wanted me to wear red so bad at Miss USA. And looking back, I think it would have been a moment, but he's always wanted me to wear red.
But he got red. You wore red and swim.
Yeah, I wore red in swim. There you go. Good answer. That's good.
That yeah. Tell dad to calm down. Okay. I have to tell you, I was in tears watching you at Miss USA this year
Aw.
because when you were on stage, Shayla, I saw you.
Oh,
So often we send our girls off and they come on stage and it's a different person.
yeah.
And a lot of that is welcome change. You know, they've grown through their year and things like that. But just as many times I've seen those same women come back and not be 100% happy with their performance because they feel like they weren't themselves.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how you were going to present. I didn't know if you were going to rock the curls, rock it straight. You know, you're a versatile person. You could have done it either way. But
Yeah.
I was so happy that when you came on stage, it was you. Like I recognized you. I saw you. That was who I was expecting. That's who I was hoping for, and championing for. And I don't care whoever told you you're short. You did not give short to me.
Yay.
Um, like I thought you were the cutest thing.
Thank you.
I was hoping for placements,
Me too.
and I saw it. You know, and being an objective person, I can kind of take a step back. I saw it. You know,
Yeah.
so I don't think I've ever relayed that to you, but yeah, I was so proud,
Thank you
so
so much.
so proud.
I felt
Oh
very much in my skin that whole week. I really just knew I was like, if this is going to be my last pageant, if I don't win Miss USA, I just want to be as present as possible. And I just felt so calm all week. I didn't have any butterflies. I would sing in my bathroom while I got ready every day. I just felt very at peace. And I just kept reminding myself, like, just soak in every little minute because if you don't take home that crown, this will be your last pageant. And like you want to soak it in, you want to feel like Shayla. That's why I also wore yellow for my gown because I was just like, it's my last pageant. This is my favorite color. I want to feel like me. And red would have been sexy and would have been fiery, but I was like, you know what? I want to feel 100% authentic. So I'm glad that you felt that way. That's so sweet.
yeah. Okay, I'm glad that resonated because you know sometimes I get so caught up in just trying to maintain some distance, like just like professional distance, that it is hard for me to articulate to my girls at all levels of competition, whether it's at state or otherwise, because, things are often taken out of context, especially again, tagging back to that whole social media thing. I don't want anybody to feel like I only was paying attention to Shayla. Like, so, because that's the world we live in. We got to post these disclaimers, y'all. I love all my babies. It's like, I love all my babies. All right. And even if you're older than me and you're competing, you're still my baby. Deal with it. So after Miss USA,
Yeah.
you had the extreme task of coming home and getting married. What was it like having such two monumental life experiences so close together?
Oh, oh my gosh. I remember on December 31st last year in 2023, something in my gut was like 2024 is about to be insane. And I didn't know why I was feeling that way, but something in me was like, you are going to have a roller coaster of a year. And when it kicked off in March, getting engaged, I just knew this year was going to be special. If y'all don't know, my husband serves in the military. He's part of the 2nd Battalion Ranger group, and he has been in Washington for the past couple months now. And when we got engaged, we decided, why are we going to wait? Let's get married in October. So it really only gave a couple months to prepare, let alone we knew I was going to Miss Oregon USA. And I kept telling him, if I win this, like that's 2 major things at once. Are you sure you want to do this? And he was just like, yes, I love you. It's going to make our lives so much easier. Let's do this thing. And I was like, okay, I'm going to be here no matter what, but let's do it. And I'm not complaining because my husband, I love him dearly. I would have married him at a courthouse the next day if he asked me to, just because I love him so much. But when I won Miss Oregon USA, I remember going out to dinner and I looked at him and I said, we're going to Miss USA and we're getting married in the same year. And so a lot of my prep for Miss USA and for the wedding was very organized. I had days that were just wedding planning days. I had days that were solely just Miss USA prepping days. And I really had to divide my time and make sure that one wasn't overshadowing the other. And I rocked it. I give a lot of credit to myself that I was able to pull off paying for Miss USA and competing at Miss USA at my highest level I felt I could have, while also putting on and putting together my wedding, which was so perfect in my eyes. So it was very stressful. I had moments that I was just like, how am I going to do this? But now that both are over, I think that God made me go through both of them at the same time for a reason. I've grown so much this year in my maturity and my self-growth that I think that even though it was hard, it made me grow so much. And I'm so thankful for that.
Do you have any tips to anybody planning a wedding in the next two years or so?
I think my biggest piece of advice is make sure that you set a budget and you stick to it. And make sure that when you're looking for vendors, don't look for the big name brand vendors. I know when I was looking for people, I looked at the most popular florists, the most popular venues, and I got the most popular prices with $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 invoices. And I was like, oh, no way. I cannot afford this. I paid for majority of my wedding. My husband and I did. And so when I was looking for vendors, I instead looked up small businesses. My florist was a small business. My day of coordinator was a small business. The woman who did my makeup and hair has known me for years through pageants. So I just got a lot of people that are up and coming or that I've known for years, and it made it way cheaper. We also got married on a Thursday, which was very random for some people, but it was a third of the cost to rent the venue for a Thursday. And I was like, okay, if you love me, you're going to show up on a weekday because no one is paying triple the cost just for this wedding to be on a Saturday. So either you're going to get the day off of work or you're not. We'll figure it out. And it worked out perfectly. Almost everyone came. So set a budget, stick to it, and make sure you look for smaller vendors. Don't look for the big name people.
Yeah, and don't be afraid I'm putting my 2 cents in. This is strictly piggybacking off of what you said, but don't be afraid to make decisions for you, right?
Yeah.
Because, like you said, getting married on a Thursday versus a Saturday, like you gotta make the decision for you. Is it worth it to have two more guests show up
Yeah.
on a
For a couple
Saturday?
thousand more dollars.
Yeah, like does the math? Wow. Well, congratulations. I mean, those are major feats, and to have them happen like back to back, I figured you just had nerves of steel because I'd be on the floor, passed out somewhere.
Yeah.
Um, did you feel any pressure when you were dress shopping, since you do have a pageant background? Did you feel any pressure looking for your wedding dress?
That's so funny. So I remember when I got my dress, it was after I did my bridesmaids party. I invited all my girls over and asked them to be my bridesmaids. And then a couple of us went to go look for dresses for the first time. So this was the first dress shop that I went to. It was True Society in Portland. And I had a very clear vision of what I wanted: no stones, not a ball gown, and I wanted it to look nothing like a pageant dress. Those were my only rules, just because, like you said, I did have a pageant background, and I didn't want anyone thinking my dress was like a pageant gown or something that they could wear to a pageant. And when I wore my dress for the first time in the dressing room, I felt like myself. I felt beautiful. I felt like a bride, and it was everything that I imagined it to be. It was just so classy and elegant. And if you guys haven't seen my dress, it was a strapless, form-fitting dress that had lace and a long train. My veil was also a very long lace veil, and it just made me feel very beautiful. And my husband really liked it too. We did a first look when I was walking down the aisle, and he said that I looked angelic. And my dad, when he saw it for the first time at our wedding, we did a first look with him. He almost started to cry. He didn't cry. He almost started to cry, but he was really sad that he wasn't a part of the dress shopping process, but he got to see it on the wedding day.
Oh, beautiful. And I wanna shout out to all the Montgomerys. I love all y'all. Love y'all
Yes.
down. Okay. Shout out to y'all. I do think that having familial support in these big life altering moments is so important.
Very much.
Um, and I have come across young ladies in the pageant space that just simply don't have it, and I've taken them under my wing, and they just roll where I roll. We gonna roll together. We gonna move together. Um, do you have what do I have, like, three questions bopping around in my head right now. Um, did you have any apprehension about getting married so young? You're a young lady, you're in your
Yeah.
20s,
Yes.
but did you have any, like, oh, maybe it's too soon? Like,
Yeah, so absolutely not. When I met John, I just knew he was my husband. And my dad actually, during our wedding, when he was giving his speech, my dad actually felt when he met John that that was my husband as well. When I became single in high school, or I guess right after high school, after having a long term high school boyfriend, I wrote down on a piece of paper everything I wanted in my next husband. And I made a pact to myself that the next time I dated someone, it was going to be somebody that checked those boxes. And I was not going to settle. I was not going to allow them to lower my standards, and I would let my husband find me. And I'm Christian, so I would pray that I wanted to meet my husband. I've always been called to be a wife and a mother, and I didn't know when that was going to happen, but I was ready for it whenever God was going to bring that to me. So when I met John and he checked off all my boxes and he wanted to be a husband, I just felt so happy and so excited. We went through premarital counseling about 3, 4 months before we actually got married. And our marriage counselor, who actually married my parents, she said how proud she was of us, that she's never met somebody or a couple as young as we are that really had values for each other and envisioned a life together, didn't believe in divorce. Just she was so proud of the people that we were and really honored us getting married. So, yes, I'm 22, almost 23. He's 23, almost 24. But I truly feel like marriage is something that you have to be mentally prepared for. It's not even about age. Because I mean, I know people that are in their 30s that I'm like, please don't get married. Like, don't do it. Yeah. I felt like I was truly ready to get married to John, and he just makes me beam with joy. And I can't picture a life without him.
Oh my gosh, I love seeing you talk about him. You just light up, and it's
Yes,
really, really cute.
he's my best.
Um, oh my gosh, my man's is my best friend too. So I love this for you. This is just like, your desire to be a mother, is that what made you choose to go into neonatal medicine?
Yeah, so I actually used to want to work specifically in women's health. I wanted to help birth babies and bring them into this world, take care of the mom. I remember watching a documentary called Aftershock, which specifically talks about the issues that go around African American women with giving birth and being pregnant. And it scared me so much. I was like, I cannot imagine going through this or one of my family members going through this. I must stop it. I must become an OBGYN nurse practitioner and work to make sure that African American women do not feel scared in the medical space. And that's something that still is really close to my heart. But as I've worked in the NICU with babies, I've really grown to love pediatrics. And so, what I'm actually wanting to accomplish now is to become a pediatric nurse practitioner. And I want to teach women at a young age how to advocate for themselves and how to advocate for their reproductive rights in whatever sense that may be. So, although I won't be taking care of adults anymore, I want to make sure that I'm teaching these young women of color and just women in general how to take care of their bodies at a young age so that when they become an adult, they're equipped and they're ready to advocate for themselves.
I think that's important. I think that would be great work, because I know a lot of young women don't have someone at home to fill in the blanks that the education system would leave when it comes to just teaching a young lady about her period,
Yeah.
or what it's like to make that transition from being a young uh, adolescent to a teen to a young woman. Like, there are chemical changes that happen all the way along our journey, and I
Yes.
don't think there's enough time spent on it in school.
Not at
So
all.
to have a resource like yourself who would be willing to kind of help bridge that gap, I think is going to be incredible. And I know that you'll get it done, because that's a testament to who you are as an individual. So,
I just applied to school, actually. That's a little piece of insider information. I'm not really sharing it with a lot of people, but I just applied for grad school. I will see what happens. I'm putting it in God's hands. If I'm supposed to go, then I'll go. If it's not my time yet, then I'll just keep applying. But yeah, I just applied.
yeah.
So we'll see.
Well, best of luck. Like, you're doing the right thing. God is in control. So if he says go, you will.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
Yes,
And are you wearing an aura ring?
I am.
Okay.
Yes.
I've been shopping for one. I'm trying to decide, because usually I wear an Apple Watch, but it's just
Yeah.
so
They're so
clunky.
bulky. Yeah.
Yeah, and I wanted something. Do you really?
I do. I love it. I've only had it for about a week, but it tracks your sleep really good. It lets you know your stress signals. And there was actually a day where I like knew what time I was stressed and it detected my stress, which is really cool. Going back to reproductive health, it tracks your cycle and it measures your temperature every day, which helps track your cycle as well, which I think is really great for women. It tracks your steps, your heart rate, all of it. So I think it's more accurate than an Apple Watch. So I'd highly recommend. They're kind of
Okay.
expensive, but worth it.
I was gonna say they're a little pricey, but
Yeah.
it's just kind of
This was
like
like,
one of those things. See,
yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
pretty cute. And I've seen girls put like little diamond stacks on top of it, like from Amazon, like fake ones, just to
yeah.
kind of make it more girly. And I'm thinking of buying one so it doesn't look as like clunky, but it's not bad. It's not super
See,
thick.
I think because I'm manifesting a proposal myself, so
Yes.
I would just have to figure out, do I would I want a thumb ring on my right hand? Like I'd have to figure out which finger I'd want it to go on.
I like it being on my pointer finger over here. I feel like it looks
Mhm.
good with like my wedding ring and stuff. My dad has his on his pinky, which also works. My mom wears hers on her middle finger on her right hand. So they recommend that you wear it on your pointer or your middle finger.
On your pointer or your middle?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. We'll work something out. But yeah, I've been actually looking at the brand since. Ooh, when did you get crowned?
And
Um, yeah, I think since May I've been shopping, like thinking about it, but
yeah,
I've been trying to be more intentional with my funds
yeah,
because,
too.
starting a business and all that adulting I've been doing, gross. Um, it's been, let me tell you, it has been such a culture shock, like diving headfirst into entrepreneurship. This is something that I always wanted to do, but I didn't think it was going to be now. Like I thought I was going to be maybe 3 to 5 years down the line, a little bit more planning, a little bit more prepared, but everything just fell into place.
Yeah,
Like everything just fell into
worked
place.
out.
So yeah, so there have been some growing pains. It's been a slow start, but I'm excited to look back in a few years and just be like, wow,
Yeah,
like
be
look at how far we've come.
growth. Yes, exactly. I think it's meant to be. Everything lined up where it was supposed to be. I'm excited to see it for the first time.
I mean, yes, girlie, you have to come by. You have to see the Empress Suite. She's really, really cute. I'm probably not getting any new inventory until January, so don't feel rushed.
Yeah,
Um,
so
but
fun. Yeah, I'll
yeah,
totally have to come see.
yeah, she's so cute.
Mhm.
And so you're splitting your time right now between hospitals in Oregon and in Washington.
Mhm.
What does that look like? Like, do you have shifts? Like, is it like a normal 9 to 5 schedule? Like, you have shifts Monday, Tuesday in Oregon, and then you have Thursday, Friday in. Are you just a crazy person and you just you just jump state lines? Like, how does that work for you?
So, one thing that I love about nursing is that our schedules are nothing like a 9 to 5 at all. So, for example, my job up here in Washington, it's called something that is 0.75. So, basically, what that is 1 week I'll work 2 shifts, the other week I'll work 3. And so I can stack those however I'd like to. So, personally, being on day shift, I like to work 4 in a row, have a day off, and then work one, and then I'm done for like 2 weeks. So right now, I don't work all week long. I'm done. I didn't work at all last week, the end of the week because of Thanksgiving. And so with nursing, you can really stack your shifts however you'd like. Full time nurses, or zero point 0.9 is the full time ratio. They work 3 shifts per week. And I know some women that will do 6 shifts in a row and then they'll just have weeks off. So it's however you want to stack it. So at my job in Washington, I'm part time. I work 2 to 3 shifts and I figure that out however I'd like. And then for my job in Portland at Randall Children's Hospital, I'm per diem there. So I just pick up whenever I'd like to. The reason why I still work there is just because they're a higher acuity. And so we see the sickest of the sick babies. And so it really keeps me on my feet and it keeps me sharp. While in Washington, we don't really see sick babies, but we get to go to higher risk deliveries. And I get to go and catch the babies as they're born, administer their meds. So when I'm in Portland, I typically just work a couple shifts a month. So this month, I just worked on Thanksgiving for part of the day. And then I worked a full shift on Saturday. And I won't be back until New Year's Eve. So I just try to come every couple months. And it can be kind of busy, but I'm really thankful that my parents live in Portland and I just try to pick up shifts when I'm already there to visit them.
Fair,
Yeah.
fair, fair, fair. I it's been interesting trying to figure out my schedule here because I've always had like a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And when I worked my way up in my company to management status, the last thing I ever wanted to do was work weekends.
Oh, yeah.
But I
Not fun.
have to consider that I'm selling gowns, and some of my uh, customers, some of my guests, are going to be teenagers who need their parents to bring them, meaning they won't be able to come until the weekend. So now I'm working weekends again, which is interesting. Um, Eventually, I want to get to where we're just doing like appointment only on Sundays.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
really helpful. Yeah.
yeah, I want to do that just so that I don't burn myself out,
Yes.
um, trying to
Important.
make this happen and everything. So, oh my gosh, I could talk about myself, but we're here to talk about you. Um, so you've already said you're coming to the Global Beauty Awards.
Yes.
Um, do you feel we don't have pageant dates yet? So there's nothing to know, people. You're not getting that announcement. Stop
No insider scoop.
asking me. Like we don't have pageant dates yet, but how do you feel just thinking about like crowning your successor and what kind of legacy you want to leave behind for them?
Yeah. I feel sad. It breaks my heart because I know this is my last crowning moment where I'll be crowning somebody else. But I'm also really excited too. I have a lot of appearances this month. I had you today, and then on Friday, I'm actually going to a toy drive. In a couple weeks, I'm with my teen, and we're doing a holiday store for the Ronald McDonald House, which houses a lot of
Yes.
kids that are at Randall Children's Hospital. We're parents that have children at the Randall Children's Hospital. So I'm really excited to see her. And then in March, I'm actually being recognized at a Blazer game for being the Woman of the Month for Women's History Month, I believe. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. But a lot of my appearances are wrapping up, and I hope that whoever wins the next Miss Oregon USA title, they're ready to hit the ground running. I mean, their Miss USA pageant could be 3 months after they win too. So I hope they're preparing hard right now. And just because there's no date, I hope that they still are working hard and are ready to accomplish the same title that I have.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope that too, friends. Please be preparing now. You didn't announce it, but I remember you started posting when you were starting your prep for Miss Oregon USA. I remember you started posting workout videos, and
Yeah.
then I think I came to the house to get my headshots done, and your dad was like, Shayla's going to go for Miss Oregon. And I said, yes, I saw the workout content because
Yeah.
I said yes, and he was like, she told you, and I was like, no.
No,
I was
but
like,
I can
I,
tell.
I recognize the signs.
Right. Exactly. I recognize the cheats, the cheat codes.
I was like, oh, we're working out. Okay, we in the
You're
gym.
getting ready. Exactly. I know.
So I hope that anyone who is interested in competing anywhere can look at Shayla's story and just kind of see what it takes to show up. It doesn't just start a week before the pageant, 2 weeks before the pageant. For the state pageant, Shayla chose to take 2 years to prep. And I think that that's something that's admirable and that a lot of people should think about when you're preparing for anything in life, really. Do take the time to familiarize yourself with what's being asked of you and take the time to prep for it. It doesn't always mean like immediately shelling out money, but do think about investing in a coach.
Mhm.
And it doesn't have to be all at once. You can start with a one rate coach, then get an interview coach, then, just kind of see what your needs are. But just think about your prep right now.
Yep.
USA girlies, we don't have state pageant dates, but still, if this is something that you want for yourself, in spite of all the drama right now,
Start now.
start now.
Yeah.
Or, no tea, no shade. Shop for a different system, babes. There's something out there for everybody. I
Yeah.
promise. I
Exactly.
promise.
Everyone has their cup of tea. I know America girls, I look at them and I'm like, I could never, but like, go for it. I could never be an America girl.
I just judged in America local.
Mm-hmm.
And as a judge, that interview took me out.
Mm-hmm. Isn't
I
it like
was
10 minutes?
a 10-minute interview.
Yeah, my interview for Miss Teen USA was 7 minutes. And I was like, okay, are we about to wrap it up or like what's going
I'm like, what's happening?
on? I'm
But
like, how many more questions y'all got?
and then it just gets to the point, like as judges, because we don't meet and go, okay, you ask this, you ask this, you ask
Yeah.
this. It's just kind of like we find a rhythm and
Mhm.
we try to work within it, and then you'll get the one contestant who will just give you nothing.
Yeah. And
Just like
this is gonna be a long 10 minutes.
it's like so, and then you find that question that makes them light up, and then the interview's over, and it's like
Ah, dang it. Yep.
I wanted to see your best.
Yes.
Um, but Shayla, are you coaching?
I am not coaching. I know. I took a big step back from coaching. I worked with a lot of girls back in the day, but just with my nursing schedule and hoping to go back to school, I've kind of taken a step back. I worked with two girls for National American Miss this year that did preteen. One placed top 5 and one made top 12. And so I have a couple
Hey.
girls that I like to just take under my wing and care for them. But my dad is the main pageant coach guy. He will probably never quit pageant coaching. Highly doubt it.
I mean, I think he's found his niche.
Yes.
And I know that he is someone who takes pride in like see a need, fill a need.
Yeah.
And I know when you all started, because his start coincides with your start.
Mhm. Yeah.
When you started, he saw that there was a need
Yeah.
for affordable coaching opportunities here in the Pacific Northwest, that, you know, affordable being the operative word there. So do check out Believe Pageant Consulting and Believe Photography,
Mhm.
because all of my favorite headshots, not all, most of my favorite headshots have been
Yeah.
taken
He's so
by.
good. I really want to do a photo shoot with him in my Miss USA gown because I only got one photo of me in it, but we need to hit the gym a little bit to be able to zip that thing up. So we will get a picture in it soon, but the holidays need to end for me to get back in that dress.
I can't even blame the holidays. I'm in a crew neck right now because none of my tops fit.
Oh my goodness.
The happy relationship weight is
Yes.
ruining my wardrobe.
That is so real. After we got married, I had to like sit down and have a conversation with him. And I was like, hey, I can't bake you cookies every night because you can keep your muscles, but it's not helping me out at all. So we've been on a strict food prep diet here in this house because I'm
I
like,
love
I want to wear
it.
that dress to give up my title, and we got to fit in that dress. So
And we don't know when the pageant's going to be.
right. So I'm like, I need to be ready like yesterday.
So, but it's so real. Ladies, don't let these men trap you in these relationships and they get you all happy and then you just balloon
Yeah.
up. Because, babes,
Mm-hmm.
when I tell you none of my cute clothes fit right now, and
Scary.
I'm having a little bit of a crisis about it. And but it's super cute because his family is all on the East Coast. So they
Oh,
FaceTime him, right? And his face is filled out. So Junior and I will be celebrating 3 years in a couple of weeks. Jesus.
aw.
Um, but his face is like filled out. So he picks up the FaceTime from his sister and she goes, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
She was like, and again, I one of my love languages has always been food. Like I like to cook for my friends and I like to
Me.
bake and things like that. So when I'm happy, I cook and I bake and I want everybody to be happy around me. So yeah, I think we just need a sweep of quick depression to, drop a few pounds and then,
Yeah, it was like the winter time was coming, and I was like, perfect. The little like winter
right?
seasonal depression. I was like, maybe it'll help a little
Just a scotch, just a scotch. But
bit. Just
yeah, it's not for the weak, y'all. I have a perfectly curated wardrobe that I cannot wear right now, which is hilarious to me. Um, oh my gosh! But look at us, just two happy girls on
Yes.
sitting here on podcast. Is there anything about your journey that you want to, whether it be in medicine or in pageantry, that you want to share with the audience that we haven't covered today?
Yeah, I think the biggest one is just my love for caring for our youngest generation. One thing that I've really worked hard with is the Girls Inc. organization. I'm part of their National Leadership Council, and that's been a huge honor of mine. I'm able to speak on a national level of how we can grow the Girls Inc. Foundation. And then on a state and just Pacific Northwest level, I've worked hand in hand with our state and Pacific Northwest CEO, Serena, and she's incredible. She's taken me under her wing, and just being able to instill confidence and love into young girls, teach them about medicine, teach them about our political climate. It's been a huge honor, and I hope that as I grow older, I continue to work with Girls Inc.
Oh my gosh! Shout out to Girls Inc. I will say, you said political climate, and I'm going to leave us with this note. You guys, don't wait for election season to get active.
So true.
Start in your community now. Be informed. Know what's going on.
Yes.
Yeah, no matter which way you vote, it's just important that you stay informed. This isn't a once every 4 years situation. These policies are going up through
Yeah.
Congress year after year after year after year. So make sure you know who your local Congress people are. It's a simple Google search, y'all. You know, so do what you can, get involved, stay informed. Go somewhere and volunteer. Okay, you
Yes.
got time. You got
Yes.
time. You can do it. Give back. Look, start to get aggressive. Rip the glasses
Yeah.
off. Give back.
Go sign up to volunteer.
Do something good for somebody else. Stop being selfish. Um, so this has been so fun, Miss Shayla. Please tell our guest, what is something that you do to tap into your big goddess energy?
Oh my goodness. I think the biggest one right now is just cooking and working out. Those are the two things that bring me the most joy. One thing that I'm starting to love that I've never loved before is running. My husband has me on a running program right now. And at first, I was terrified, but you really do get that runner's high and that runner's energy as you're going. And it feels so good. You feel so accomplished afterwards. And me personally, knowing that I've never liked running, seeing that I can run 5 miles, I finished that and I'm just so proud of myself. And he wants me to run a marathon one day with him. And I used to say never, but honestly, running has been my peace lately. And so I think that that might be obtainable. Maybe not anytime soon, but in a couple of years.
But you'll keep working at it. I
Yeah.
love that for you. For you. I laugh when I run, so that's one of the important parts of running is breath control. And if you're laughing, then
There's not a lot of breath control.
nope. So I'm gonna stick with my Peloton.
Yes, I love a good Peloton though. So
Oh
much.
my god. Are you on? Are you on Peloton?
I'm not. I don't have one, but I love like Soul Cycle and all of those things. And every time I go to a hotel with a Peloton, it's always so much fun.
Do it. Do
Yeah.
it. Join the cult. Okay? It's fun over here. We have a
Yeah.
good time. Actually, since I stopped cheerleading, Peloton is like the only consistent cardio
Yeah.
that I can get.
Yeah.
And that was extra for y'all listening at home. So I am going to call this episode a day. You guys, thank you so much. Oh, Shayla, where can everybody follow your journey?
Yeah. My Instagram is Shayla Montgomery, ShaylaMontgomery. And then my TikTok is Shayla Kern. So my first name and then Kern.
And y'all, that has been the absolutely stunning, multi-talented, multicultural goddess herself, Miss Shayla Kern, your current Miss Oregon USA. Thank you all for tuning in. Be sure to follow Shayla on the remainder of her pageant journey and keep following her for all of the amazing things that she will be doing next. With all of our love, we say bye.